Look, I've been in the sports card hobby for a couple decades, and right now something feels off, and it's probably not what you think it is. I mean, the truth is, the market has changed, and collectors are confused, and what used to feel like a tight-knit community now feels different. But I'm trying to figure out if it's broken or maybe something's just evolving. Let's talk about the current state of the hobby. My name's Ty Wilson, and I've been running around the sports card world since I was a kid. I currently host a show called Chasing Cardboard right here on YouTube, and I lead one of the larger reselling businesses in the hobby. Let's be real. I mean, the sports card world has been on a roller coaster the past 20 years. From 2009 to 18, the market was just treading water. Slow growth with niche momentum, and then the pandemic hit. And from 2018 until 2022, the hobby surged into global relevance. But as expected, the meteoric rise led to a brutal downturn. And since 2022, the market's been recalibrating. And here we are now in 2025, and many of us are just scratching our heads asking, where is this hobby really going? Well, over the past 4 years, I've traveled the country, I've interviewed collectors, I've told their stories, I've bought their collections. In addition, I've also interacted with thousands of buyers and sellers across the world, and I've picked up on a lot of feedback from people in the trenches. This is my current perspective based on all of those interactions. Let's start with what's keeping me excited about the hobby in 2025. Starting with trend number one. Hobby content is thriving. And this one hits very close to home for me because I live in this world. I mean, never before have we had this many engaging creators in the space. We got great podcasts, we got great teachers, we got impressive entertainers, we got former athletes, all delivering content that keep collectors coming back day after day. I mean, truly, if you want fresh, entertaining hobby content every 24 hours, it's out there, and much of it's pretty impressive. In my opinion, that's really, really good for the hobby. Trend number two is education is everywhere. I mean, this kind of rides the wave of content, but it goes deeper than that as well. Collectors and resellers today are just smarter. They know the product lines, they understand grading, they track comps, they can sniff out scams, and the influx of social media has amplified transparency and news like never before. And honestly, that's been incredible to witness. Education is the foundation of stability, and there's a lot of education in the hobby. Before we get too far though, what's one thing that you're loving about the hobby right now? Be sure to drop it in the comments below. I'm sure we'll all pile on. Trend number three is scarcity finally matters again. I mean, here's the deal. When the government pumped trillions of dollars into the economy, demand exploded. I mean, prices inflated, even on the overprinted junk. But when people realized that there was plenty of supply or print run for most of those cards, the market crashed. But that pain reminded us of something critical, that scarcity deserves the premium. We saw the resurgence of 90s inserts, we saw rare parallels, we saw vintage and high grades exploding in price, and plenty more. And that's a good thing for long-term market health because scarcity is what should bring the premium. Trend number four is that parents and kids are bonding over cards again. I mean, this one hits really, really close to home for me because I have kids and they love cards, and I love sharing this hobby with them. And as a bonus, through Chasing Cardboard, I get messages constantly from parents telling myself and Matt how collecting has brought them closer to their children, and it's created a bunch of new memories. In addition, we've chatted with family members across the country while being on the road, and they've told us the same thing, that sports cards can bridge generations and that the hobby has a unique way of creating special bonds. It's really alive and well, and it's one of the most powerful parts of this hobby. Trend number five is that the hobby is just still fun. I mean, truly, card shows, hobby shops, rip nights, trade nights, custom art, collecting rainbows. There are so many ways to enjoy this hobby world, and the intersection with physical products and technology has added a completely new layer. If you are not having fun, it's probably more on you than it is on the hobby. Are you having fun in the hobby? I mean, really? Are you? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, deep breath. Now let's talk about the concerns that I see in the hobby today. And stick with me because I think the next part might ruffle a few feathers, and I just want to be completely honest with what I think are pretty big flaws in the hobby. Concern number one would be just product fatigue and overproduction. I mean, print runs are at historic highs, no questioning that. I mean, manufacturers are flooding the market with more parallels and SPs and base than we can process. Every new release brings another must-have chase card. While the variety can be nice, I'm convinced that the market is just tired. We can only handle so many one-of-ones and the waves and the zebras and the jack-o'-lantern parallels. We do not need 200 different parallels of the same card. We just don't. The newcomers quickly get confused and the veterans just get annoyed. I know products pretty well and I'm definitely fatigued. What about you? Are you fatigued with product overprinting? Let me know. Concern number two would be card shows are just becoming retail events. I mean, shows used to be grassroots where you'd meet the athletes, you'd make the deals, you get their signatures, you'd see the community. Today, it just feels like a trade show with A-list stars and flashy displays all over the place. You got retail wax here with retail prices. You got huge repack buyers. It just feels like a shift away from community and more towards commerce. And I personally don't like that shift or that trend in the card show world. Concern number three is the grading bubble is flattening. And if I could wave the magic wand and fix one thing about the hobby today, I'd get this grading world situated, because I think the oversaturation of graded cards could single-handedly cripple the hobby's ability to properly grow. Now, let's be really clear. My frustration with the state of grading is partly on the grading companies and partly on us as the marketplace. I mean, the grading companies in general have left a lot to be desired, from the lack of transparency, the mind-boggling upcharges, and a widening gap of inconsistencies. But an equal amount of blame goes on the marketplace for simply over-indexing on graded cards. That's including myself, trust me. We inflated the grading bubble by thinking every single card needs to be in a slab, and that's just not true. And that mindset is still prevalent in the hobby, and it will take years to untangle across the marketplace. And because of that, what we're now seeing is that PSA 10s are just too common, and the scarcity of the 10 doesn't exist anymore. So the only way for the grading companies to reel in the expectations is to tighten the grading requirements, and that happened, and the gem rates declined, and we're starting to see a lot more 7s, 8s, and 9s, and this unfortunately just had to happen. But it's going to take a while for the dust to settle because of it, and I think it opens the door for other grading companies, and I believe it forces grading costs to continue increasing. Simply put, grading just needs to be fixed. Concern number four is the lack of transcendent American superstars. Ohtani, Wemby, Jokic, SGA, Messi, we love them all, but where are the next American-born faces of the sport? That matters more than you think, because Americans spend big on athletes who represent them. In basketball, is it Anthony Edwards? Is it Jason Tatum? Is it Bronny? Is it Cooper Flag? In baseball, is it Aaron Judge or maybe Bobby Witt Jr.? What about soccer? What about hockey? The hobby needs stars to believe in and heroes to rally around. And right now, we're in a bit of a vacuum. Another growing concern that I see is just the rise of the repack culture. I mean, we're seeing more and more businesses popping up that just repackage cards into mystery boxes and blind packs and subscription-style products. Now, I understand the appeal. It's exciting. It's gamified. And sometimes the chase is just plain fun. And really, the liquidity that it provides can be a good thing overall for the marketplace. But here's the problem. Most of these products lack transparency. The odds aren't disclosed, the values are often inflated, and in many cases, buyers are left with low-value cards after paying premium prices. Repack culture is slowly conditioning buyers to expect short-term dopamine hits instead of building long-term collections. And that, I think, can erode trust, especially for new collectors who get burned early on. And finally, the last trend, it's a subtle but serious issue, is just collector burnout and short-term thinking. With so much noise in the hobby, with product drops and new grading trends and influencer hype, minute auctions and hour auctions and daily auctions, it's easy to get overwhelmed. Too many collectors are just flipping cards weekly, chasing trends monthly, and pivoting strategies constantly. That kind of pace isn't sustainable, and it doesn't create a good hobby experience or a good reseller experience. It turns everything into just a stressful hustle. We need more voices just encouraging long-term thinking, playing the long game with your business, building collections that you love, and learning about the history of the sets. In addition, just understanding the stories behind the collectors and enjoying the process beyond just the profits. Look, overall, I am a net positive on the hobby. I think there's a lot of really good things like content, education, relationships, and the fun part of the hobby. They're all thriving, but we definitely have to address things like product fatigue and the over-glamorization of shows, and of course, the grading glut. What's one thing that you want to see change in the hobby in 2025? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Oh, and if you want to know what I'm focusing on in my reselling business this year, click the link below, join the email list for free, and I'll send you a full breakdown of my strategy going forward. Thanks for watching.